Y'all, if a job interviews you and hires you the same day, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Tamia, and if you haven't seen me before, you literally haven't missed anything. I am now back, so I'll be posting videos every Thursday. Why did I look over there? I don't know. As you can tell by the title, this is a story time about how I worked in a hotel for only 3 weeks. I quit. And then later on, an investigation happened. It was 2020 and it was May. So I had got laid off from my kind of college campus job because the campus shut down and we had went virtual. So I was really in need of money. And so had the interview, everything went cool. They hired me on the spot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they told me I could start training that afternoon. And what did I say? Yes. Y'all, if a job interviews you and hires you the same day, okay, because you need to run, baby. It's never good. And I wish somebody would have told my little self that, but they didn't. And I needed a job. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. So I came back later that afternoon and my training began. So the owner, the person that interviewed me, we're going to call him Carl. And one of the managers, we're going to call them Alan. Anyway, so Alan was training me first, right? Alan was very cool. He had been working at the hotel for a long time. I want to say that he had been working there for 8 years, but he told me that he really just liked the atmosphere of the customers and whatnot, and just meeting a bunch of people, working front desk at a hotel. So I was like, oh, I get that. I can get behind that. Cool, cool, cool. What started rubbing me the wrong way is when Carl would step in and train me. So one day of my training, he was telling me that the hotel deposit for the rooms was $50. And then he was like, but if someone's looking suspicious, you need to charge them more for the deposit. What? Literally, he was like, if someone is looking suspicious, you need to charge them $75 or $100 for the deposit instead. And I literally remember asking him,
What do you mean by that?
and he was like, oh, you know what I mean. And never really went into detail. And that was my first red flag, right? But here I am, okay, you know what? Just dust that off your shoulder. Whatever. Whatever. To get into some of the other coworkers that were on the same level as me, I'm going to start with Becky. So Becky was actually really cool. And I remember her working on the morning shift, so we will only talk for a little bit during the shift exchange, but she was always nice. And so I definitely should have known something was up even more after she left, because she actually ended up texting me and was like, hey, do you want to help me file a complaint against Carl? Mind you, y'all, this was my first full week.
It's only my third day out here. I don't know.
Girl, I don't know. I didn't want to get into that because I didn't know anything. Besides what he had told me, the little deposit thing, I didn't really know anything else. Because I think she was talking about pay or something like that. I just didn't know all the details, so I didn't feel comfortable helping her file a complaint when I had just got the job. I was just I don't know, Miss Girl. I don't know. I don't really know what actually happened to Becky or anything like that, or if she filed the complaint or not. But part of me is wondering if that's what led to the investigation that happened later down the road, which I'll talk about later. And so after Becky left, another girl had came in, and we're gonna call this girl Isabel. Isabel, y'all. Isabel had already worked at the hotel previously, right? And so I think this is her second or even her third time coming back. And Isabel was 10 toes down for Carl.
Listen, I'm 10 toes the fuck down, nigga.
When I tell you down, I meant down. You would have think they went together. She was so down for that man. Because I remember talking to her about something that he did and how I was just kind of uncomfortable with it. It may have been the deposit thing. I'm not really sure. But she was like, oh, don't worry about that. It's totally fine, blah, blah, blah. Basically just covered for him. I was like, all right, noted. And there's this one other time actually that I want to tell you guys about. So there's these like two people or whatever that ended up smoking like cigarettes in their hotel room, and so they're going to have to get charged that smoking fee. And so their card had like declined or whatever. She had literally turned and said to me, she was like, "Oh yeah, I think this is like one of those like prepaid or like cash app cards or whatever. So whenever they put the money back on there, like I'm gonna run it again and just keep running it until I snatch it off of there." And I was like,
She fucked up too, so it's like they both. Oh my god!
I, Baby, I just ain't feel like it was that deep. But I was like, okay, noted again. So let's fast forward to like the day I quit or the day I decided to quit. So here I am. It is my third week of working. So the first 2 weeks they had me working side by side with someone on shift, so I was learning the ropes. And so this was my first week like working alone. And so first of all, when I first started, my manager, well, not the manager, the owner, Carl, had told me, like I could call him anytime. Like if I get stuck with something with the computer, just give him a call. And mind you, I did not call this man that much. Like it's not like I was running his phone off the hook. Like I called when I absolutely had to. And this was one of those times. So someone was checking into the hotel, but it was like a configuration on the computer I had never really done before. And if I would have clicked the wrong button, it would have cost them a lot of money, like the hotel a lot of money. And so I was like, okay, like instead of just acting like I know what I'm doing, like let me just call him. And so I did. But y'all, when I called him and I asked him my question, he got an attitude with me, like such an attitude. Like the nice person I had been seeing over the past few weeks, like kind of a little bit, had switched completely. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, to me, you should know this by now." Babe, babe, it is my third week and maybe my second night working by myself. And I didn't get trained for this. So no, I don't know it. And so y'all, that rubbed me off like that. It just rubbed me the wrong way so bad. And so he explained to me what to do, whatever, we got off the phone. So here I am, mind reeling, because I really don't play that. Like when it comes to like managers and like bosses and whatnot, y'all, I really need someone that's gonna like just have my back. And like if I ask you a question, please answer it. Like I understand like those people that be asking them like dumb questions, you'd be like, please figure it out yourself. But like if I'm asking you a serious question or whatever, I need you to be able to answer it. I need to be comfortable with you, and we need to be able to have a great relationship as a boss and employee. Like that's just how it should be. And so I was like, I really don't know what to do. I really didn't like that. Like now I really don't feel comfortable asking him anything else. Like, are you gonna respond to me like that every time? And so what do I do as a grown black woman? I called my mama. I called my mama. That's what I did. Cause you would too. You would call your mom. You would call your mom. So ring, ring, ring. Call my mommy. And I was like, girl, like I basically just tell her what went down, right? And so my mom, thank you to my mother, like she was just like she understood where I was coming from, and basically it was just like the kind of this is just up to me, like whatever I felt right about doing. And so in that moment, I was like, I have to quit. And so that's what I did. So I went home and on my little computer and I wrote my notice, which was very nice of me. I didn't quit the same day or anything. I wrote a notice, and so I went in the next time I had a shift and I handed that notice in. For yeah, it was like a 2 week notice. Okay, so fast forward about a month later, I was at a new job. Thank you, Lord. And a random lady had DM'd me on Instagram. And she was basically like, hey, like, I know you work at they charged me the wrong amount for my room and I want a refund. And then she also slipped in there that she knew my aunt. Like, and it seemed threatening. So I was like,
Baby, help you do what? All I can do is pray for you.
first of all, baby, why is you reaching out to me on Instagram, DM, and not the hotel? Like it just was so weird to me. And I was like, why would you mention my auntie? And so I remember I had texted my aunt, like, do you know this woman? Like, do you know this lady? She was like, yeah, I've only talked to her like a few times though. Or I think she just said they were like Facebook friends. So I don't know. I just thought it was so odd. I was like, girl, why would you reach out to me when a hotel is the one you got beef with? Like, Why was you beefing at that wedding when you should have, you feel me? Like, I was very confused. And so ultimately what I had said back to the lady, I was just like, I no longer work there. You need to take that up with the hotel directly. Because did it make sense to y'all? Like, what? That is still throwing me to this day. And so fast forward a month after that, I remember ended up getting a phone call. And so the phone call was from a private investigator. He was basically telling me, like, hey, like, I'm reaching out because I used to be a previous employee at this hotel and we are currently having them under investigation. And I think he was saying it was like for financial conduct, like it was something like that. And so that definitely took me back to Becky in like the humble beginning. When she was talking about like how she felt like her pay was off and wanted to like file that complaint. So I was wondering if that stemmed from that, but again, I just totally don't know. And basically what the guy was asking me if I was willing to come in for like an interview to like be a part of this investigation. And y'all, I told that man I would call him back and let him know. And what did I do? I never called him back and let him know because no, I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. Like, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. The Lord pulled me out of that situation. Amen. And I was not going back. I didn't want no parts. I don't want no parts. I don't want no parts. So I don't really know what happened with the investigation. I don't ever know what happened to the people. I don't know what happened to Isabel. Maybe her car ran off. I'm not very sure. Oh, and also too though, when the investigator had initially reached out to me, I had reached out to manager Allen. Y'all remember the cool one, the man that worked there for 8 years, y'all. I had texted him and I was like, hey, like, like this investigator reached out, like I kind of feel weird about it, da, da, da. And he was like, oh yeah, I quit. Like, what? What? You quit? You quit? Y'all, when I tell you I did not see that coming because I'm telling you, that man had been there for a long time. Like I tried and true. Like I thought he was still gonna be there. So when he quit too, I'm like, girl, cause I'm glad you got about it up. I'm glad you got about it at. So I thought that was so, so crazy. All of this was so, so crazy. Like, literally all of it. But like I said, never caught that man back. Ain't want no parts. That was there on that. So we have made it to the end of this video. If you did make it this far, definitely comment down a hotel emoji below. And then also let me know some of your crazy work story times because I know I am not alone in this. If you did like this video, definitely give me a big thumbs up. I appreciate it. And also subscribe because come on back. Come on back. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you later.